Oh. Do, 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 do. La da 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 da. Bum 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 ba bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum bum bum. Now, yes, I know. One moment. If that starts automatically, we're going to get in trouble, dear. Bum bum bum. Rum bum bum ba dum. Rum bum bum ba bum. Ba dum bum. Whoa. Bum bum bum. Huh. Oh my. Alrighty. And where are we? Here we are. Hi, folks. Nick Tockert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. Before we get into what we're going to talk about tonight, on this most festive of occasions, I'm joined by my assistant, Lydia, who, well, will you turn around? Did you lose your hat again, dearie? There we go. She's in the Christmas spirit, at least a little bit. We are going to talk about what we all want for Christmas this year, and then what we'll probably end up getting ourselves after the holiday has ended. Because let's be honest, as Western martial arts enthusiasts, sometimes we have to purchase our own gifts, and that's fine. Before we get into that, however, I do have some bills to pay so that I can have money to purchase gifts. First and foremost, I need to put a shout out to our good friends at IndieCD.org. Yes, IndieCD.org, the Independent Creator Directory, your one-stop shop for the best and the brightest authors, musicians, creatives, artists. It's a home away from home on the internet, where you don't have to worry about being subjected to the whims of billionaires doing whatever it is they're doing at the given moment. Till the end of the year, so only a few short days, you can join the Independent Creator Directory for only $5 and have a lifetime place holding you in the loving arms of Joe Bachman. So we love the Independent Creator Directory. We're also, of course, made possible by sales of, let's see if I can get that to hide. Thank you. Let's go through the pile. The Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe, and the Simple Spear. All part of my ongoing series of books designed to help you go from having never handled a weapon to being able to teach the art to others. The Western martial arts are a passion of mine, and I've spent the last 20 or so years studying and teaching from the old manuals, and then I decided that what the world needed was a simplified take, something that could boil it down and condense it and teach the things that all the masters seem to agree on. And I built a style based on that level of logic and applied goodness. So that is those series of books. I also want to remind you that Melee, the 20 years ago, I also designed a little game for armchair generals who wanted to test their tactical skill in the downtime on those cold winter nights when a lot of people aren't fighting. Melee is the result of that. It was something I set up, and I had the pleasure of playtesting with a delightful gentleman by the name of Jesse Tibbetts. And while he is no longer with us, he is well loved. We also, I have to plug both the Big Stompy Robots core rulebook for all your mecha-based tactics needs, and Through the Thinning Veil. 7 great stories to chill your bones. All of them, well, some of them are born from my time as a paranormal consultant. Some of them are absolute fiction. You get to decide which is which. And I am running the wrong banner. But most importantly, we are made possible by patreon.com/the Historical Fencing Guild, where several amazing people give a small token, some quite large, to help me keep this show on, to help me keep providing education and entertainment, and to help teach the local folks who might not be able to afford it to the safety and the reassurance of the Western martial arts. There are a few things that can give you the kind of confidence that that does. So I want to take a moment and call out their names and thank them. That's Off in the Woods, Frog G, Ronald Rain, Bladed Thesis, I know that's one of his other handles, Brian K. Morris, Cindy Kep, and Steve Augusto. These fine folks are the ones who let me afford the trainers that I will be ordering in the very near future to review better gear, better supplies for the people who do come out and practice. 2024 is going to be a huge year for a lot of that. There's a lot in the works. I also will be talking about the fact that February 24th, 2024, I will be hosting a convention, the IndieCD.con, which is the Independent Creator Directory Convention, where I will be reaching out, and I will have many authors and artists and other creatives all coming together in Fowler, Indiana, at the Annex building just off of 52. It's very easy to get to. And we'll be selling books. We'll be doing face-to-face things. I'll probably do on-site art supply. It's art commissions. It's going to be a wonderful time. We've got some limited catering going on. I am very excited. And that's going to be one of the big things I'm pulling for in 2024. But with all that said, we need to talk, friends, because sometimes you have to wonder, what do you want? If old Saint Nick is coming down your chimney in the next few nights, or stopping by your campfire, depending on who you're talking to and what your incarnation of him is, what do you guys want for Christmas? What would really wrap up and make your holidays bright? I hear some thundering, so okay, I think Mandy's handling it. If not, I'll have to go, but that's okay. That's what happens when you're a parent. But figuring out what helps and what you guys need and what you guys want is always good, because maybe you'll have the funds to do it after the holiday is concluded. For me, for one, there isn't much I need. I would like, to actually invest either in a mass order of trainers so that I can get everyone fighting with the same equipment again. For the guild itself, likely the polypropylene rapiers, or possibly there are a couple things from Purple Heart I would love to get my sticky mitts on for, the others. For myself, it's much harder because I don't tend to think in terms of myself. That's why I ended up having multiple loaner gears, and then my own gear was nearly falling apart. It's about, for me, it's about the service. There are some things in life I would love to get my hands on. A tactical version of my favorite sword, or a steel fencing version of my favorite sword with the same rigging. I would love, there's some equipment I would love to get my hands on. A throatless Beverly shear has been on my list for a couple decades, which is a tool for cutting sheet metal. But maybe, a really nice swordmaster's coat that fits and has, all the protection. We will see. But let's think on that. What you guys want, what you guys need. Let me see. Sound there. I'm sorry, I just saw a setting. Test. Yeah, the audio should be going through. Well, because people are talking about the Christmas list, it must have started coming through. And let's go through the comments, and then we'll get back into this lovely chat. Okay, you can hear me. Thank you, Alec. Sorry, I had, I hold off reading the comments till I'm ready usually, but I noticed one that could be problematic. But good evening, Alec. I hope you're having a good one. And yes, Lydia. Let me see. Maybe there we go. The net is a little dodgy right now. I think a lot of people are online watching things and broadcasting to their families and such. So I expect some technical difficulties. And we've addressed the sound issue. No, I'm kidding. That was kidding. And I am going to be there. That's right, Alec. If you want to meet Alec's creations in person, Alec will be there, hosting on-site art of some sort. I'm not really sure what all you want to play, but. And Jai says, I would too, but I heard there will be no blood bags. Probably not. I'm sorry about that. It really is hard to cater for the undead, but I really would wish that you could make it because you are such a well-loved member of this group, Johnny. And Alex says, yeah, sadly, probably not, Johnny. Jai says, my Christmas list is short and cheap, just a well-delivered punch so I can sleep for a month or two. Oh, God, Johnny, come on. Why? Let's be kinder to yourself, sir. You are a wonderful gentleman, and you deserve much better than you're giving yourself. If I had the means, I would send everybody a full kit so that they could train at home. That's what I would do. That would be, if I had the money to be the kind of host I wish I were. And Al can hear me. I'm glad to hear it. It's my fault. It's all good now. Well, I'm glad. I'll email you, Nick, with what I'm going to bring and do. Thank you. Just so I know, because I have to update that stuff, which I know it doesn't directly apply to the guild, but it applies in that I will be promoting the guild and sales, and I want to try to get more folks out and able to enjoy what we do. I've got a small crop of people who are waiting to be 18 so that I can teach them properly. I am very looking forward to that day. Unfortunately, in this era of litigation and hazards, it's much easier on everybody to have folks be 18 so I can have them sign a waiver. And then, what we do is what we do. Because I don't ever want you guys to think that what we do is entirely safe. Any martial art has its dangers. I personally try to mitigate it as much as possible with a combination of equipment, but much more focused on the mindset of learning what we do safely. And Foxy says, home, thank goodness. Well, Foxy, I'm glad you're home. And hi, yes, me, waiting for me to be 18. Absolutely. Now, because I can only work with people who are 18 and older for, again, legal and safety reasons, I certainly would not recommend you getting and yes, that's why Ethan is needing to email you as well, because EMS, having someone with that kind of skill set around is actually a great benefit. And I believe, is he 18 as well? Because if he wants to learn, when practices start up in the spring, we will happily have him come out and spar. I have no problem with that. I'm going to be reaching out to my local folks to try and get them to come down when they can, and my older students, and I might be acquiring some new ones, which is a delightful thing. That means I'm still being of service. Finding part of what we do, guys, you have to understand, there's a lot of dedication. It's not. Wait a second. I'm sorry. He's turning 18 in January. Wonderful. The waiver just states that any accidental blood is drawn to be collected and delivered to a friend. For legal reasons, this is a joke, sort of. Johnny, I'm all about making sure that you are fed safely and ethically. My dear, dear vampire. However, I don't think that that's the way to do it. But frankly, I've seen you. I have no doubt that you could acquire many, many donors, my good sir. Hi, Cindy. We're joined by Cindy Kep, one of my favorite people on the planet. How are you? Haven't been 18 for 35 years. No, you're just 18 with 35 years of experience. You're the kind of person who can now apply for a job in America. Yes, this is an entry-level position. We just need you to have 25 years of experience and a master's. Anyhow, or a bachelor's or something like that. But I find it hard when people ask me, what do you want? Because as a martial artist and one who's been at this a long time, I don't want to say I'm persnickety, but when you know what feels right, what works, there's a selectiveness. Now, I will never turn down a sword unless it's of certain types of propaganda or imagery that I'm sure you could guess quite readily, or is something I don't feel I deserve to have. For example, on many occasions, I have been told, well, why don't you just get a Marine Corps saber? For a lot of people, thought I would enjoy the fighting with something like a Marine Corps saber. I have not been in the Marine Corps. I have not served. Therefore, it would be totally and woefully inappropriate for me to engage in the ownership of such a thing. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but I take the concept of stolen valor very, very seriously. Let's see. Thesis says, it gives the link. Join me tomorrow night as I discuss how to use Christmas decorations to defend yourself. I think that's going to be a blast. That's going to be a great topic. They are there's so much fun to be had with that, and I am incredibly excited. I'm also now seriously craving peppermint cocoa right now. Because one of the first things I think about is using a candy cane Kobutan. Let's see. Ox says, once I'm 18, I want to get you a sword cane, Nick, as a slight joke, But sword cane, those sound cool. I own several. There are a couple that I would love to acquire, but I actually do own several sword canes. I don't usually carry them for fear of it being considered premeditated should I have to use it. The legalities could get real funny real fast. But there are also a lot of low quality sword canes out there and some higher quality sword canes. And we could talk about that. There are some more tactically minded models, and I'd be happy to talk. In fact, I could easily pop and grab one of my favorite low-cost sword canes that I have, if that's something you guys would like to see. And I do love sword canes. Well, obviously, and my trainer is, of course, right here, because who doesn't love a good sword cane trainer? And now I'm having an old hat and clogs flashback to early days of Bleach. Anyway, City says, find Nick's books about big stompy robots wielding simple swords against fighting axes and simple spears of melee against small arms coming through the thinning veil. At my store, amazon.com/store/Mr. Nicholas Anthony Tucker II. That's me, author B07P26PSF3. I'm trying to memorize that string of numbers. It's on my list. We can make it look like Space Marine Saber. No one will know. Oh God. Someone really wants me to start dealing with heresy. Anyway, find Nick's art at deviantart.com/NickT. Yes. And Thesis says sword canes can be good, Alec, but you need to be careful to get one that doesn't suck. That is true. There are a couple ways that a sword cane can suck. Before we get into as I highlight everything and my computer goes, "What are you doing?" Before we get into that, first off, many of them are rat tail tanged. Many of them are low quality steel. And you also have to consider the release. Now, I have a couple sword canes that I love because I have history with them, but many of those are thread release, which is wonderful for maintaining the cane aspect, but can be most problematic if you need to unscrew it in a hurry, which a sword cane, being a surprise weapon of defense, has to be drawn in a hurry. Now, I believe it's called the Traveler's Cane by Cold Steel, actually is better than most, especially at the cheaper end, in that it has a spring-loaded push button release that allows you to easily pull it. I have another sword cane that is actually spring-loaded and it shoots a dagger out the top. However, being that is stored under tension, the foot has a habit of shooting off the bottom. So I have to avoid those. It is one of my favorites because it's one of the few sword canes you can actually still cane with whilst deploying the weapon aspect, which gives benefits. I want to say M48 has some really nice sword canes, and there are several that are just instead of being true blades, they're just a spike, which is very efficient and can be quite effective if you have a thrust-based stud. The trick, of course, is first and foremost, you need to know the legalities, not only of your state, but of your county and of any city you intend to bring that in. Because in some cases, that is considered a disguised weapon. So the legalities can be really odd. Now, there are several models that have hammers as the cane, which have been discussed as being, under the theory that because it's a hammer, it's not a disguised weapon, it's a weapon with additional features. You have to check your legality very, very, very carefully. That's why instead of a sword cane, I usually use my rather expensive custom canes, carbon fiber cane, which is quite light but nigh indestructible, and I can use with sudden blunt force trauma to great effect. But we can really break down by company the sword canes that are out there. Another thing to consider if you are looking for a deployable weapon, automatic batons are very popular these days. They have their pros and their cons, and it is another type of defensive tool that both you want to train with religiously and you want to make sure you have one of relatively high quality. But if you are doing what we do, a simple wooden cane, which is relatively inexpensive, can be more than effective as a defensive tool. And if you have a plain simple cane and somebody attacked you and you're like, I fought them off with my cane, that looks to the police, that looks to prosecutors as something that I think would be less likely to earn their ire and get your legal problems maximized. Because remember, whenever we are talking about something that we're using for practical defense, the goal is to always negate the threats, and you want to negate a threat without creating another one. So if I can talk somebody out of a conflict, which I have, fortunately, now I don't have an enemy. Now I don't have legal problems. I don't have a threat. If I have to resort to violence or the threat of violence to negate a threat, I've now created someone who sees me as a threat, which can cause a whole nother line of events. So we always have to be thinking a couple moves ahead. One of the odd things about me is I despise the game of chess. Always have. I don't like a limited game of attrition. War by attrition is not my style. But that's why I have other tactics games, and a big part of why I made Melee, because that can actually be played on a chessboard. You can play it on much larger boards as well, and I recommend much larger boards. But understanding the the layers, I want to phrase this right, the layers of defense and the layers of threat. My first thing is I don't want to die. Me dying, or what I truly believe worse would be someone in my care dying, would be the worst possible outcome for me. Someone I'm protecting and caring for dying in a conflict would be the worst, followed by me dying in a conflict, followed by either of us being maimed in said conflict, followed by generating legal issues, followed by social threat. So you've run off a guy. By social threat, I mean you've run off a robber, a would-be mugger or something, and turns out he's a member of a gang, and now you have the potential for him to come back with his friends to readdress the issue. This is problematic. I still say that it is worse to have an issue with the police than an issue with a criminal organization, because theoretically the police could help you with that. And I know that's a lot to be thinking about. But when we start looking at real world self defense beyond confidence building and the fun that is Western martial arts, the play aspects, we have to look at the real world aspects of any conflict like that. You can and will be hurt, cut, bruised, broken, battered. I had early in my life, I endured a great quantity of physical violence. I still carry scars, external and internal. That's not even mental. I'm just like, my x rays look interesting, folks. And I always want to prevent the worst from happening to you guys. That's a lot of what we do. That's why I preach prevention. I preach attention. Because the sooner you can identify the potential of a threat, the easier it is to deal with. And I will tell you this, ladies, gentlemen, and anyone in between. If you are walking into a situation and your gut, your intuition, your vibes, whatever that little tingle in the back of your neck, little feeling in your stomach says something ain't right, listen to it. Because if you listen to it and it's wrong 99 times out of 100, that does not hurt you. But if you don't listen to it that one time that it's right, you could be putting your life in danger. One thing is, are you, when people ask you to do something, when you look at a situation, one of the great metrics is this something someone would do in a horror movie? Then don't do it. And I hate to say it, but sometimes in life we have to ask, wait a second, is this stupid? I have a suspicion that this might be stupid. I don't want you to live in fear, guys. I don't. I don't want you to be hyper vigilant. because that will exhaust and damage you. But I do want you to be vigilant enough so that when you're balancing the survival aspect and the living aspect of life, uh, you do so in a way that it doesn't adversely harm you. Okay, I lost. Let me get back into the comments because I kind of went off there. And tune into this show tonight, and tune into this channel on all the Fridays. Yeah, most definitely. Since I've seen that happen. Yeah, bad sword canes happen. Help Nick teach people to be safely dangerous. Patreon.com/The Historical Fencing Guild. So have I. A guy I knew a guy who bought one and broke it first time he tried to thrust with it. Absolutely. Sword canes getting stuck in the cane part. That's true too. Causing trouble is the modus operandi. Yes. Yes, I understand. And we're joined by Miss Saren. Hello, Miss Saren. Thank you for Miss Saren is someone I know and is a wonderful, wonderful person. My problem is I know a great many people under a great many names, and it requires me to be careful sometimes not to out people because they are using different handles in different places for different reasons. But it is very good to see you, Miss Saren, and I hope you are having a good night. We were talking about oh, Hyde's chess set. He wanted to play with the scripted friend. I would play chess with you, Johnny. That's how much I like you. I'm also letting you get away with all these cryptid lines you're dropping. That is a personal Christmas gift to you, my good sir. Because everyone knows I am a plain, simple mortal. I don't know what you're talking about. This whole cryptidness. Oh, I've almost got my Terry tail back. I haven't had one of those since college. Wow. Flashbacks, friends. I really should finish I'm going to mispronounce this at Wakey board that I started working on earlier this summer. And I'm decent at chess, but no master. I need to revisit it in my older age, and I have more patience. It's just been a while, and I just very chess very often feels like it's a game of planned sacrifice. And as silly as it sounds, I am terrible at the strategy of using a piece and having it die to put me in an advantageous position. It's like whatever a sociopath is, I'm the opposite. So I tend to over personify my chess pieces, and I feel bad because the only thing to play chess you have to it's much like fencing in that you have to make an opening, and you have to convince them that it's a good idea. But too often, chess feels like deliberately pairing with somebody with your hand to throw their weapon out and stab them. And I really can't. Oh, that's not how I think. I'm not good with acceptable losses, which tells me that I probably should be playing chess if that's my mentality. Because when something makes you philosophically uncomfortable, you have to understand why. And sometimes you have to do it simply because it makes you uncomfortable. I don't know if that makes sense to any of you. And Alec is laughing, and I'm exhausted today, so I might be a little quiet. Foxy, I know you've been going through some stuff. I understand fully. If you need to take it easy and just relax, I hope you and Thesis are having, pizza and cuddled up and having a very pleasant Friday night as we approach the Christmas Eve, Christmas Day shenaniganry. I'm a little dizzy about it because, due to the assorted illnesses in my household, I've had to cancel literally all my Christmas weekend plans, which means I don't get to go visit people I desperately wanted to. I don't get to go some places I desperately wanted to, and a few very small but very meaningful activities that I normally do this time of year, I will not be able to. Uh, I'm actually sick enough that went to sleep last night, and I cannot remember a year in recent memory where I slept through um, the night of winter solstice. I'm almost always up keeping the vigil, so I usually stay up till sunrise. I have for years. Can't even explain to you why. It's just something I normally do. But I have been too weakened by my current health issues. I still look in the mirror and see that my tone is rather pale and flushed out, and I have lost considerable amounts of weight in a very short amount of time. Heck, I even stopped drilling for like the day I went to the emergency room, and I think one other. I fell asleep. And other than that, I haven't missed drilling because I'm insane and I am a sword nut. But that part of dedication, it keeps me being me, and I don't feel like me if I don't do that. I don't know again if that makes sense to you guys, but it's part of the necessary rituals of nickdom. Foxy says, I'm pretty much Foxy everywhere. Nice and easy. That is such a sentence to hand me. Because I am not, I am not going to disagree with that first sentence at all. And the nice and easy, I know you're very nice. I'm in a mood. I'm sorry. He's the simple human. What do you mean? Exactly. Well, maybe a tad unhinged without a door or a frame. I'll have proof, Alex, soon. Oh my. We love Nick nonetheless. And Cindy's still working on her competition forms for ICMAC next June. That's wonderful. You know what? I would love to see Johnny in person. Lamau, I still want to see that. Johnny, Nick's our cryptid. Aw, I feel loved. Yes. I can play chess. I'm definitely not good at it, but I can play it. Same. I get so sad when I play chess. Yeah, there are too much forced sacrifice. And I've given up enough in life that I'm not fond of doing it recreationally. I'm out about the same, Cindy. I know where the bits go and can win sometimes. Maybe I should stop naming the pieces. I like the lack of excuses in it. If you lose in chess, you made a mistake. Take accountability and start over. Oh, absolutely. And I respect that. The other problem is I learned to play. I was in chess club at one point in my life because obviously I was. But I was never the guy to memorize the assorted gambits and maneuvers, and a lot of other people did. And to me, that always felt like cheating because that you're not playing chess. You are playing chess as someone else. I don't know if that makes sense. But yes, I'd be willing to give it a try. Fuse Bear knows Jap. Oh, Go. Okay, yes. Playing Go is actually something I am rather fond of. I have a couple Go boards. So yes, that's wonderful. Yep, you made a mistake somewhere. Learn from and try again. Exactly, and that is a valid set of lessons. Oh, Foxy's offering candy canes to everyone. That's why I prefer traditional archery. If you mess up the compound bow, you can blame the police, release, etc. If you mess up with the traditional bow, it's all on you. See, I don't blame the tools. As a rule, I don't blame the tools. If I miss something, I missed. And bit.ly / Shadow Fist 5050, that is the fund to help raise money to get them to ICMAC. I miss our archery dates. We should do that again this spring. Yes, you should. Cindy says, I used to play chess with some guys at school during lunch. I was the only girly person in the group. One fellow studied the official gambits and never won another game. Yeah, that's true too. You can lose yourself in trying to gain the abilities of others. I think there's a lesson there. Lesson. But that's why I like games with I like simple games with lots of options tactically. I like to be able to use terrain more. But yeah, I think you may be right, Johnny. I may just need to revisit chess. I like my bow, even if it's a 50-pound pull. I'd like to get a 35 too for days I can't pull the 50. I'm working to build back up to being able to use a couple of my bows. I have a nice 35-pound bow that I need to get a new string for. Actually, I have many bows, if I'm honest, because I used to do a lot of archery, and because I run the Historical Fencing Guild. In the past, I've been known to lay out numbers of bows and have people shoot. My current location and the wind around it makes it a little dubious for me to doing it. Let's see. Alex says, I remember being blindfolded and having to see if I could split wood with an axe. Was the only one who could do it. Take notes. This was in Boy Scouts. That makes sense to me. I mean, I'm really shocked that the Boy Scouts would have you be blindfolded and do that. That is not anything I've seen in any of the manuals. But I've spent so much time behind an axe that I have no doubt I could do so. Let's see. Cindy says, I'm learning the drumming cadences for Lion Dance. I can do about half of it now. Wonderful. Uh, 35-pound bow. I had to use sneaky leverage tricks to draw a 20-pound compound face palm. It happens. I still have my kitty bows that are like, 12-pound, 5-pound little kid basic bows, and they're still fun to shoot. You just shoot them in closer ranges, and that's fine. Why in the left-handed elephant would you need to chop wood blindfolded? I am baffled, and the heck kind of Batman-like Boy Scouts y'all got up there. See, I don't know, because I was at the Boy Scouts, the Weeblos, briefly, and then my dad decided my training was not sufficient, so he gave me different training. And I learned to do things. It was a little like Fun Station. I get what you're saying. Definitely violates all OSHA requirements. Come with me and you'll see a world of OSHA violations. Some days I can do it, Cindy, and other days my shoulder falls out of place. Kind of crapshoot. I understand that because I have to shoot. Let me think about it. I'm ambidextrous in most things, but I prefer to shoot, left and draw right anchor at my there's like a notch in my cheekbones where my thumb roots. Your anchor point needs to be consistent, but because the damage to my wrists, my right hand does not like to be compressed. It's actually very painful and can cause damage for my right hand to be compressed, but it can be pulled fairly comfortably. So we get this number. My left shoulder is stronger than my right shoulder because it was dislocated. I had it dislocated by a client when he slammed the door on me and then was attacking me. So I had to relocate my shoulder by ramming it into the wall myself, and then subdue the client for about 3 hours before he was calm enough that I could get some relief and support and seek medical attention. It was a problem. Uh, so I get the adjustments we all have to make. Miss Saren says, I'm not sure any statement has ever filled me with more curiosity than Nick saying, I learned to do things like that. Well, um, I did. Uh, Now, I had the skill set, but not the physical capacity so at some points. Uh, but yes, we'll just say yes, and we'll leave it at that. Actually, the difference between a geek and a nerd usually is a nerd focuses on academic studies of some sort, and a geek focuses on collecting and more pop knowledge, you know, pop trivia kind of things. What I am is a hybrid because I am a geek, but I collect skills. So, yes, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus, but no, I learned to do things and some other things, and then I've just my character sheet, if it were ever written out, is far more interesting than it has any right to be. We'll put it that way. And Foxy, I could shoot left or right, but right-handed bows are easier than left for me. Exactly. Uh, if I can remember correctly, Alex says it might have to do with it being a trust thing. I remember things like that, those briefly, as my memory is so messed. I understand. I understand entirely. Uh, I shoot bows lefty because I'm left eye dominant. And Johnny says, when your shoulder learns it can take vacations from the socket, you get used to it quite often. This is true. And actually, this is a very interesting point. I've been studying ADHD, ADD, and comorbidities. Apparently, hypermobility is part of that. And there's something called the ADHD hands, where many times people who have ADHD carry their hands high, kind of in this odd T-Rex motion when they're walking around, and they gesture a lot in this range. And the reason there's actually a medical structural reason for that. Because if we lay our arms down at our sides, like people who don't have hypermobility can do, the weight of our own arms can start to dislocate the joints. So to hold ourselves together, we literally reflexively tighten up and keep our hands up here. It's a fascinating piece of how do I phrase that? Physical knowledge. I don't want to say physical education because it is, but that doesn't quite sound right. Uh, but yes, eyes anchor to the right corner of my mouth so I can just feel the tip of my finger to my left foot. And yeah, now see, my problem is I can shoot a bow left when I train with a tool or a weapon. I was taught to train with it in as many and as adverse conditions as I am capable of generating. So I can shoot a bow left-handed. I can shoot it right-handed. I can shoot it on the inside, on the outside. Different grips. I have my preferences, but I can make most of the things go because it it lines up that way. And, that's my approach with knives. That's my approach with swords. That's my approach with firearms. If I am going to use something, I want to be proficient. I want to achieve a level of proficiency where I can use it from assorted stances, from assorted positions, for assorted time periods, because I want to be able to rely on any skill set like that I have acquired. And yes, it is good. Yes is good, LOL. Curiosity won't kill me, don't worry. Okay. Indeed, Johnny, but my hip is worse. It came out today, in fact. Oh, I am so sorry. Unfortunately, I have some of that, hence the reason that I've gotten my handicap placard, which was something of an emotional blow that I had to admit that I needed to do that. But that's, part of what we do. Cindy puts it great. May the force, geek, be with you. Nerd, be equal to mass times acceleration. And Alex says, that makes sense. Actually, that makes a lot of sense with the arms and hands. Absolutely. It's one of those really useful bits of explanation, because diagnoses do not define you, but they do give you an insight to why you do things. And I do that a lot, keeping my arms tight in. Yeah, because it literally, by keeping it flexed like that, the muscles that hold your shoulders tighten up, and it literally holds things into socket. That's why I prefer my Han bow. My recurve has an arrow rest, so it can only be shot one way. I understand that. Sobbing, I need to try and look into things among that sort, because I have medical professionals that love blaming it on my gender expression. I have many conditions. Frankly, I have to take a pharmacy every day to function, and do drills and physical therapy and occupational therapy to keep going. It's a lot of work to maintain. I'm kind of like an old British roadster, but the the things we have to do are hard, and I've had a great many. The answer to every problem I have is my weight. So when I was having neurological difficulties, which I have neurological difficulties, obviously I have peripheral neuropathy and a few other things. The answer to that the doctor gave me was, well, you're morbidly fat. Like, that's why I'm falling down. Yes, you're morbidly fat. Well, the problem is I've been falling down since I was in my teens, and no one could explain why. Every so often, one of my legs would just turn off and I would fall on. And at that point, I was 120 pounds. So if it predates the obesity and in fact has contributed to the obesity can't be the cause. So yes, I fully understand the framework of a doctor going, well, this is why. And let's see. So I do feel sorry that you have to go through that Alec, but you're not. Well, I don't like most of my medical people. Don't blame you. Medical people are either great or not. I have a very, very good nurse practitioner right now, and I will follow that woman to the ends of the earth, because she has been just the most perfect opposite of every other medical professional I've ever had. Just everything you could want. Foxy says, if I walk with my hands down at my sides, they puff up real big. Yes, that can happen. Circulation issues. takes a long time to find a medical help that helps. That's true. Foxy says, don't forget to like and stuff. Yes, please do. Put your hands in your pockets while wearing a black coat. The edgelord look helps. I usually wear brown or green coats if at all possible. I am not cool enough to be an edgelord. Johnny, you're a sexy beast. You can get away with it. Ha! That reminds me of a story, Johnny. And let's see. I can't get diagnosed with things that are wrong for me because being trans, among other things. It's stupid. They also blame it on my weight because the answer for everything is lose weight. Yes, I've been fighting that. And when the question is, I keep my calories, keeping my blood sugar so low that I'm nearly collapsing. I'm not losing weight. That's why I'm on some different medication now. Things are getting better, but it will take time. You're not alone in that. I'm not very edgy. No, you're curvy. Anyway, of course it does. Want to tell it here, save it for tomorrow. I plan on being there. Somehow I don't doubt that, Foxy. And it caused me to have an eating disorder. Times I've lost 20 pounds a week. That is not good. So I am sorry that you're going through that too. I was waiting to pick up Foxy from work, and I had just come out from a wedding wearing black shirt and black dress with silver tie. Foxy's boss came out to ask me to leave because I was scaring people away from the entrance. It happens. I'm more hippie. Well, that's good too. That's why you should carry a sticker that says security if you got to stand in place like that. People thought I was a mobster. Funny thing is, the wedding was an Italian Catholic wedding. I was the bouncer at my friend John got married twice. One was we'll say spiritual setting, and I was part of the party there. And one was it was a more traditional one, and we were at a very nice place in Portage, Indiana. This park hall in the middle of the park. It was beautiful, but the lot of us all wore burgundy shirts, black suits, black tie, and I was skinnier than and more active, and had a gentleman who had taken a very specific set of illegal medications and was going through some very obvious side effects of that. And I encountered said gentleman, and he had planned to remove his clothes and then go be part of the wedding. And I informed him that that would be a bad idea because you don't want to end up in somebody's trunk because the boss has things he needs done. Now, I can't let you have that sort of thing, but it's a wedding. I don't want to get in trouble. You don't want to get in trouble. So what you're going to do here is you're going to sit in this bathroom stall till the wedding's over. And then I'll come back, and we'll conversate a bit about what will happen should you attempt to interfere with the wedding party. Capiche? And the dude hid in the bathroom, hopping up and down on the toilet because of part of what I suspect some of the medication he was taking. And as the wedding party was going on, I saw him slip by the door and run out of there terrified. So it was a thing. Let's see. I also got asked repeatedly from veterans where I served. I carry that aura. You have very good posture, and you're aware of your situation. That's quite a bit. Being sober is so much fun. I have many stories where my being quick-witted and sober have allowed me to get friends and people out of problem situations that could have been very bad otherwise. but they're not mostly for here. So one of these days we'll talk. Alex says being sober is way more fun than being not. I like my thoughts. I will tell you this. I can only speak of sobriety because I have never recreationally not been sober. I come from a family that has great difficulty with that. And several people I care about deeply have had to go to great lengths to regain sobriety. So my logic has been, as long as I never have a first drink, I never have to have a last. That is not a judgment on anyone, because alcoholism is largely, not always, but largely, at least 50%, a genetic disorder. It runs in families. So it's not my place to judge others, but it is part of the rules I have to follow. And I was the only sober one at a party, and I had fun. We'll just leave it at that. I bet. Luckily, my meds don't give me the heebies like they used to, like they do a lot of folks. Yeah, there are a lot of side effects that a lot of the meds we take can do. My nerve meds, for example, have been horrific for some people, like monstrously so. But they're very effective for me for mitigating the amount of pain, numbness, and trembling that my hands have. We all do what we have to do to adapt and move forward. And same, Nick, my family's littered with alcoholics, and I've seen the damage it does. Yep, meds are wonky. You have to be careful and never self-medicate. That's what professionals are for. I am not a medical professional, but I do feel confident suggesting that whenever you have a question like that or a condition, take it up with medical professionals, because that's what we have them for. They've spent a lot of money and a lot of time training to get that way. My old ADHD med made me go places I did not want to go. I can understand that too. There are a lot of side effects for a lot of meds that can affect people. Now on a new one doing much better. I'm glad to hear that. CM Punk told me be straight edge. Can't let Punk down. Yes, abso-fraggin-lutely. Sorry, I kind of really like CM Punk. But guys, it has been over an hour just. We went way off topic, but I think it was helpful for you guys. I hope you all have a happy holiday, however you choose to celebrate it, if you do. If not, I hope you have a happy weekend. To the folks who normally watch me on my other channel, I will not be having a Monday program. I'm going to be spending that time with my family. I'm sure you understand, especially as both Manda and Xander are sick with what I have. They need extra assistance, and since I have been dealing with it the longest, I'm doing the most I can to try and offset the problems. So there will be that. Let's see. Cindy says, don't forget to get Nick's books, Amazon.com/store/Mr. Nicholas Anthony Tucker. Thank you, Cindy. And tune into the Historical Fencing Guild right here on the Historical Fencing Guild. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to this video. But guys, I am sorry. You probably can see I'm getting a little shiny with the sweat, so I'm going to need my fever's back up. Please keep drawing. I'm sorry, this is the wrong loadout, guys. Wrong outro, guys. Keep your eyes open. Do your drills. Be kind to yourself and each other. And as always, friends, thank you for supporting your local sword master. I will see you next Friday, and we will get into some more discussions. I'll be a little more together than I am today. I hope by then. Please have a happy, Merry Christmas and whatever else. Instructions weren't clear. Stab my drawing with the sword. Feel better sooner. I'm going to try. Thanks for the stream. Have a lovely evening. Yep. Bye, Lydia. No, I dropped a buckler. That's okay. Bye, everybody. Have a great night.